Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to talk about an excellent example of genetics during the Silver Era, and that is of the Rebear family. In particular, Canadian bodybuilders and cousins, Rejaine Rebear and Leah Rebear. Here is a fascinating story of how genetics runs through the family and the similar potentials of those that share the same genetics. Previously, I had never heard of Rejaine Rebear until I stumbled through a recent article, but he was known as the Little Giant, and I will briefly introduce his story today, as well as show a comparison of his physique and his cousin's physique, that is Leah Rebear, in today's video. And really to demonstrate the point of genetics and how it truly is such an important factor in physique development. Enjoy. Now, the story of Rejaine Rebear is that of the typical scrawny kid that gets sand kicked in his face. I mean, he was a skinny, short little guy who was apparently getting picked on by a lot of bullies. And lucky for him, he was the cousin of Leah Rebear. So Leah Rebear took him under his wing and started showing him some waiter mags, and probably showed him this one with his own cover, right? And I mean, who wouldn't be inspired, right? He was inspired by his own cousin, of course, and the images of seeing such greats as Ed Theriault and Angelo Caminiti, both truly like pocket Hercules of the time. And so, of course, he immediately got the iron bug and started training himself. Now, here truly is a fascinating comparison of Leah Rebear, shown in beautiful color cover from Your Physique magazine, March, I believe, in 1951. What a wonderful physique. Look at those abdominals. I mean, you're just looking at all of it. I mean, he's got massive arms, beautiful chest, sweeping back, and a beautiful set of abdominals, washboard abs, and thick muscular thighs and calves, right? And then you look at Rejaine Rebear. Noticeably, I mean, he doesn't have the muscular mass of Leah Rebear. He's actually shorter than Leah Rebear. Leah Rebear, I think, was about 5'5", and Rejaine was 5'4". However, I mean, he's even got Leah Rebear's pose happening, right? You can tell his arms are slightly different in shape, but the whole package, you can tell that he shares, essentially what I'm trying to say is he shares that genetic potential. You can see that he's on his way. I mean, he went on to win a few competitions, and it's just a fantastic example of genetic potential running through the family. Here you have a bit slightly shorter guy, but still able to develop a very similar physique to his cousin, who was a champion bodybuilder. I really liked looking at this particular example of genetics running through a family. It's not very often that you see two bodybuilders from the same family come up, and when you do, this is what you get. I mean, you get this fantastic genetic potential obviously coming through in the physiques. I mean, you can even see, for example, the abdominals have a very similar shape, the legs and the sweeping back. Of course, Leah Rebear has probably taught him how to do this pose just exactly as he does, but the genetic potential is definitely there between the two cousins. It's a great example. Now, the measurements that Rejaine Rebear was able to develop with his 5'4" structure, again, he trained under his cousin Leah Rebear, was firstly, he increased his muscular weight by about 30 pounds. That's quite a lot of muscle, and you can definitely see it on his legs. He has very thick, powerful legs, beautiful sweeping lats, and very thick muscular arms. A wonderful physique, right? Here he is with his trophy, I think, after winning the Junior Mr. Canada. I think Leah Rebear was able to develop 16 3/4 inch arms. Of course, he is taller than his cousin, and I mean, after about a couple of years of training, Rejaine was able to develop 16-inch arms, so it's pretty good for his height, and a chest of 44 inches, a very pleasing aesthetic physique. Of course, he modeled himself on his own cousin, of course, plus the idols of the time, the icons, Steve Reeves, Reg Park, and Clancy Ross. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I had not heard of Rejaine Rebear. He was known as the Little Giant, and rightly so. I mean, in 1950, he stormed on the scene in the America's Most Perfectly Developed Athlete, which was won by none other than Reg Park. However, Rejaine was able to capture second place in the short man class, only losing to a greater athlete, and that is, of course, Ed Theriault. Wow, I mean, what an honor. To come second to Ed Theriault is pretty incredible, and to be one of the highest ranked athletes alongside Reg Park in 1950, you cannot complain. And I mean, what a wonderful physique he was sporting. A few weeks later, he won the Junior Mr. Canada in 1950, and here he is on the posing die, looking phenomenal, winning his trophy. I mean, look at that wonderful aesthetic physique. It's all there, isn't it? Those sweeping thighs, the lats, thick triceps, beautiful, a beautiful set of pectoral muscles, and a very slim, trim waist. It's very, very aesthetically pleasing. Fantastic genetic potential that ran through the Rebear family. Now, for those that are wondering what his workout was like, well, of course, you can imagine that under training with Leo Rebear, he was basically just following a silver era workout. His favorite exercises included, of course, the bench press, dumbbell flies, laterals for the shoulders, the cheating curl, a very favored exercise at the time, and barbell rowing actions, barbell rowing exercises of all types. Interestingly, he did focus always on increasing his poundage and basically looking at progressive resistance training as a form of increasing muscular size. So he was always trying to get stronger with the weights that he was using, and he would use a three to four sets of 8 reps only. Once he could perform 8 reps, he would immediately increase the poundage, again focusing on the double progressive resistance training method, that is increase the poundage and the reps over time. And in this way, he was able to gain some decent size and muscular bulk. That was his goal, I guess. And I mean, you can really see it here on his legs. Man, those legs are thick, fantastic legs. I guess he could have worked a bit on his calves a bit more, but truly a phenomenal feat for such a short athlete. His workout was an upper lower body split. He would train 4 times a week, each split twice a week, and his sessions usually lasted for about 2 hours each. Now, if you'd like to read a little bit more about how Reg Park used the 20 rep squat, especially for the development of his rib cage and his chest, and really his whole physique, you can check out my website, www.goldenerabook'em.com, where you'll find a self-written book called Rib Cage and Chest Development, based on Reg Park's many articles, as well as Reg Park's original 5x5 routines, how I developed my 19-inch arms. You'll find it all on www.goldenerabook'em.com. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I definitely enjoyed this article on Rejaine Rebear. And again, I leave you with this photo. Really, you can see the genetic potential running through the Rebear family. It's truly impressive when you have exactly the same pose. I mean, look at the pose, study it well. Look at the, I mean, he doesn't quite pull off the pose as well as Leo Rebear. No doubt Leo Rebear was a true champion, but you can tell he's been trained by his cousin, and the potential is there. The genetic potential is there. He's able to develop very similar muscular girths and size and shape, and even the shape of his physique is so similar to his cousin's. Yeah, I mean, the posing, of course, was dialed down beautifully. Look at the way he poses. Those wrists are actually cocked on his forearm as he performs the pose. He's staring at his bicep, at his, I believe his left bicep, just like Leo Rebear is doing. He's flaring his lats out, just like Leo Rebear, tightening his abdominals, again like Leo Rebear. He's got his left foot stamped onto the floor like Leo Rebear, and the other foot, you know, he's got the heel up on the rear foot and pressing down so he can really accentuate the quads. You can tell he's been perfectly trained by Leo Rebear, and it's all there, that genetic potential. It's fantastic. It's a great example again of genetic potential during the silver era. I've never come across 2 cousins during the silver era who had such similar physiques. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching this comparison, this video on Rejaine Rebear, the little giant cousin of Leo Rebear. If you've enjoyed watching the video, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me your comments. Thank you for watching, and please support my work through Patreon or by PayPal. You can visit my website www.goldenerabookworm.com for how to print books and courses, and of course you can contact me via email to pass on your bodybuilding literature, relics, or to collaborate. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. To take full advantage of my affiliation with NSP Nutrition and Old School Labs, please visit their respective websites and use codes GUB20 or Bookworm12 to get a discount off their selected products. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.